Clay from Westerville, Ohio. Westerville. I don't know where that is. Is it?
It's one thing. It's in Ohio. I can tell you that.
Okay. I just found the show and I've been binge watching. Wow. What are these people doing? Binge watching this garbage. Oh.
Have you ever been binge watched our show?
No, I've never seen it.
Never ever seen it.
I've never seen the show.
Yeah.
I've listened to a couple. Andy did a really good job. I don't know, a couple of years ago on the best of or the something. I listened
a couple of years ago. He listened to one.
Yeah. She did like a montage of something, and she asked me to listen to it.
Okay, listen to that. You did that.
I did that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I was on the ride to Palm Springs. All right. So he's binge watching. He's got a little Dr. Pepper Zero, just pounding away. The Dr. Pepper's just absorbing your money or wealth. Just can't get enough of it. He's got a 2008 Honda CRV with a double doodle roaming in the house. The double doodle. Ugh. Okay. 42. Wife is 40. Make about $135,000. The wife stays home with the kids. We have approximately $650,000 in my governmental 403B, all pre-tax, and $350,000 in our Roths. Oh, man, at 42 years old, wife staying home with the kids. Guys,
impressive.
Killing the game. Very impressive. Got $1 million.
Yeah.
Our best case is retirement at 58 with $3.5 million, which we're on track for at a 6% rate of return. If we were to hit that number before 58, I could retire before that. Mortgage would be paid off and likely need about $75,000 in income. We currently save $25,000 or 25% of our income. I max out both Roths and just started contributing to the 457 Roth option. We do not pay into Social Security, so there will be no Social Security income. He's got a couple questions. One, should one maximize Roth 457 first instead of our Roth IRAs because of the additional flexibility it grants us to get us to 59.5 and also help solve for the ACA credits in the future? I also have $100,000 in a retirement medical account, like an HSA after you retire, that will likely be about $200,000 at that time. So in theory, I could just pay for health insurance out of pocket as well as draw on those funds in doing some Roth conversions of my 403B. So a couple of things. With the 457 plan, there's no 59.5. Everyone kind of gets confused on, when can I take money out of my account? In a 401k, as long as you separate from service, the age is 55. It's not 59.5. With IRAs, individual retirement accounts, it's 59.5. However, Roth IRAs are totally different than that as well because you have access to the contributions at any time. So if he's making $100,000 contributions, for the next several years, he always has access to that because it's first in, first out. The earnings or the growth of the overall Roth will need a season for 5 years or until he turns 59.5, whichever is longer. So should he stick with the Roth IRA or go with the 457? If I was sitting in Clay's shoes, drinking my little Dr. Pepper Zero with the little Dopperdoodle, I would go 457. I don't know. What about you, Big Al?
Yeah, because you can put a lot more in, right?
Yeah, put a lot more in. You have a lot more flexibility.
Yeah.
I think, I'll do that all day long.
You like
right out of your paycheck. It's easier. You don't have to, take it out of your, savings account. So I like that.
Yeah. And then there's ACA credits, which we should explain that, Affordable Care Act credits. So this is to help you pay for your insurance when your income is low. And so what people tend to do is they try to keep their income low enough until they get to age 65, Medicare age, where they can then get credits and get help on paying for health insurance. And if you're able to draw money out of Roth IRAs, or you're able to draw money out of your savings, or maybe a non-qualified non-retirement account, and you don't have a lot of taxable gain, then that can work.
Yeah, because then it's the income is virtually zero.
Correct.
Right. Okay. Number two here is that How do you guys look at pension options? The 403B can be completely or partially converted at 55 to a pension. Okay, how do you guys look at pension options? The 403B can be completely or partially converted at 55 to a pension, as I choose the self-directed plan, not the guaranteed pension option when I started 20 years ago. I will have a COLA that matches CPI but can't exceed 3%. Traditional view is that a 6% distribution to take it, and I like the idea of converting some of it to create an income floor conservative portion of assets similar to Social Security between 25 and 40 grand. But I also feel like I could take the money, I'd allocate the pension and create my own while controlling my taxes with our Roth IRAs and possibly converting some of those balances to Roth. Just curious how one would spitball that. I am aware that I'll likely die first and want to keep things as simple as possible for my wife. Really appreciate it. Loyal listener now. Yes. Clay. Look at him. He's already thinking about death. The guy's 40.
Yeah, 42. Is
Man.
that something you think about these days?
I think about it every day. Al. Every day I drive into the office. I'm like, I just wish the semi would just take me out.
It's like, I've had enough. I'm in my 40s. Good enough.
I killed it. Well, got married.
Killed it. Yep.
Month in, I'm ready.
I got a great legacy. Just
Bucket list.
take me now. Got it.
No, I don't really think I love life. I love my life.
Yeah.
I'm a happy-go-lucky guy, and no, but he's responsible. The guy's got $1 million at 40. Of course, he's thinking about his wife and estate planning and getting things dialed in there.
Right.
How do we look at pensions? Well, there's a lot of calculation that goes on in looking at, do you take the pension or the annuity stream versus the lump sum? In some cases, it makes a lot of sense to take the lump sum, and he's right on track, because if he takes the lump sum, then he could create his own income from the overall portfolio. He can control his taxes. He can do conversions. He's already got a lot of money in Roth. He's doing the right things. He's going to have even more money in the Roth because we just told him to max out the 457 Roth. And so he's going to control his taxes quite a bit. If he takes the annuity, well, then that's a guaranteed income floor. He doesn't have Social Security. So then it's like, all right, well, at least I need some sort of floor of income. I'm going to have a lot less balance. And if I pass away, that income could stop either at his life or his spouse's life. So it really depends on, what's the pension payment versus the lump sum. So there's a calculation there to really determine kind of what, the internal rate of return that you're getting from the pension. Then it also deals with your risk tolerance. I mean, a lot of people like that floor. All right, so then take the floor, because you're going to have a ton of other assets as well, right? So he's got to do a little bit more calculations here, but I think he's right on the right track of at least thinking about it. But yeah, I would, if he doesn't have Social Security, I would probably take the pension.
Yeah, I would probably take the pension too. And the reason is because 6% is a decent payout, and it's got cost of living increases. A lot of times with pensions, maybe they start around 8%, but there's no cost of living increase. So by the time you get 10, 20 years in, it's a lot lower payment in terms of purchasing power. It's the same payment, but it will buy you a lot less because of inflation. So I kind of like that too. Plus the fact that they have so many other assets to utilize for other purposes, particularly they're thinking 3.5 million. Yeah, I think I would take that. But I think that's how I think about it. It's just like you said, Joe, is you do the calculations, you see what's going to be better. But in this case, I would probably lean towards the pension based upon what I see.
Right. Well, let's say if he doesn't take the pension and then you look at his income needs, what is the burn rate? What's the distribution rate is what he really needs to figure out. So he wants to spend $75,000 today, forecast that out with a 3.5%, 4% inflation rate to see what that number is. And if he takes the pension, let's say that's $90,000 of income need, and he's got $50,000 coming in from pension, right? All right. So now he's short 40, he's got $4 million. That's a 1% burn rate. Okay. That's pretty healthy. That's right. Or you take the lump sum and you do the same number. Maybe it's a 2.5% distribution rate. Well, that's still pretty healthy. But if you're running into 4 or 5% burn rate on that money, then it's like, okay, well, probably the pension might make a little bit more sense, because you're going to have to take on more risk in that overall portfolio. And he wants to retire early, and he's probably going to have super longevity just because the Dr. Pepper zeros.
instead of beer or harder.
Cocktails. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I actually brought up a good point. So health does come into this. So if you think you and your spouse, if you get the survivor benefit, have impaired life expectancy, and you've got kids, maybe you do want the lump sum, so you can maximize that for the kids. So there's a lot to consider, really.
Are you prepared for retirement? Schedule a free financial assessment with an experienced financial professional right online at purefinancial.com.